Dr. Kethera ran her crystalline appendages across the ancient inscriptions for the 1000th time, her bioluminescent patches dimming with exhaustion. The archaeological site on the dead world of Morthak Prime held secrets that had haunted galactic historians for centuries. The remnants of 13 different civilizations, all extinct, all bearing the same cryptic warning carved into stone, metal, and crystal in languages that span millions of years. "The translation is consistent across all artifacts," she reported to the expedition leader through her comlink. "Every single civilization, regardless of when they existed, left the same message: do not wake the sleepers of Sol 3. Commander Velthok's response crackled through the static of the planet's magnetic field. "Sol 3. That's the human homeworld. But these inscriptions predate human spaceflight by millions of years. How could primitive civilizations know about Earth?" Dr. Kethera paused at a particularly well-preserved tablet, her translation matrix working overtime to decode the ancient Vorthak script. "Commander, you need to see this. This civilization died out 2 million years ago, but their final entry, it's a detailed tactical analysis of something they call Terran combat doctrine." The silence over the comm was telling. Humans had only achieved spaceflight 3 centuries ago. They were barely a level 1 civilization on the galactic development scale, useful for trade and diplomacy, but hardly the stuff of ancient warnings. "What exactly does it say?" Commander Velthok asked finally. Dr. Kethera's voice trembled as she read the translation. "It describes encounters with beings that appeared during what they term Great Awakening events. Small, bipedal creatures that emerge from the third planet of a yellow star when galactic civilizations reach what they call critical hubris levels." She moved to another inscription, this one from the Eternal Empire that had ruled half the galaxy before mysteriously vanishing overnight. "Commander, the Eternals left detailed records. They describe how these Earthspawn don't follow any known laws of warfare. They don't conquer for resources, territory, or even survival. They fight for concepts." "Concepts?" "Ideas like freedom and justice that they value more than their own lives. The Eternal's final entry describes watching human warriors charge into certain death not to win a battle, but to prevent the torture of prisoners they'd never met." Commander Velthok's species had evolved from pack hunters, but even they couldn't understand such behavior. "These are just myths, Dr. Kethera. Ancient civilizations often created boogeyman stories to explain their failures." But Dr. Kethera had found something else. A data crystal from the technologically advanced Krethak Collective, a race that had mastered faster-than-light travel when Earth's continents were still forming. The crystal contained what appeared to be actual combat footage. The holographic display showed beings that were unmistakably human, though wearing primitive armor by galactic standards, systematically dismantling a Krethak battle station. But they weren't using advanced weapons or superior numbers. They were using tactics that defied every principle of military science. "They're not trying to minimize their losses," Dr. Kethera whispered in horror. "They're maximizing psychological impact on the enemy. Look, they're deliberately taking the most dangerous routes, the most impossible objectives, just to prove it can be done." The footage showed human soldiers sharing their rations with enemy prisoners, then turning around and destroying entire fleets with the cold efficiency of machines. It showed medics treating wounded enemies, while their comrades fought those same enemies mere meters away. "Commander," Dr. Kethera said, her voice barely audible, "I don't think these civilizations died from war, plague, or natural disaster. I think they committed suicide." "What?" "Every final record, across 13 different species separated by millions of years, they all say the same thing. When faced with humans who fight not for victory but for principles, when confronted with warriors who view death as acceptable if it serves a greater good, the civilization simply gave up." She highlighted the final entry from the Morthak archives. They cannot be reasoned with because their logic transcends survival. They cannot be defeated because they do not fear death. They cannot be corrupted because they fight for things that cannot be taken from them. We have awakened something that should have remained sleeping. May the cosmos forgive us. Dr. Cathera looked up at the stars, where she knew Earth hung in the darkness, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of their reputation as the galaxy's most terrifying force. "Commander," she said quietly, "what if the humans don't know? What if they've been asleep all this time, and we've been living in the peaceful interlude?" Above them, the first human deep space exploration vessel in centuries was detected entering the system. The sleepers were beginning to wake.